When I first played Lords of the Fallen back in 2014, I was thoroughly underwhelmed. Frankly, I downright hated the game. I thought it was a cheap Dark Souls ripoff with terrible combat. If you're an action RPG and both the action as well as the RPG portions of your game suck, what are you exactly? Needless to say, I was extremely hesitant when Lords of the Fallen, a game by the same name, was announced for 2023, an attempt to completely erase the first game by reusing the old title. Thankfully, I was pleasantly surprised by it. I don't know if that's because I had terrible expectations going into it, but it definitely exceeded what my preconceived notions were. By all intents and purposes, Lords of the Fallen is a by-the-books Dark Souls clone, with a few interesting tweaks and new game mechanics thrown into the mix. It's a game set in a gothic fantasy world with a very heavy focus on religion and pain. It's also extremely brutal and very gory. Think Blasphemous, but in 3D. You run around slaying monsters and other foul creatures using swords, axes, bows, hammers, and any other tools of death, kind of like most other Souls-like games. The art style and direction lead you to believe that every single weapon and item you pick up could probably have been used in some form of ritualistic torture. This is absolutely not a game for the faint of heart, or if you're squeamish in any way. The main way that Lords of the Fallen separates itself from all other FromSoft games is the ability to jump between two different worlds. Your own world, called Axiom, and a shadowy realm called Umbral. Think of the Upside Down from Stranger Things. There are a few really cool and exciting uses of the Umbral world. The longer you stay in the Umbral world, the more XP you get. But it often becomes more and more dangerous until you start getting hunted by these terrifying wraiths and other fiends. There are tons of puzzles you need to solve by hopping back and forth between the worlds. For example, there might be a cliff in front of you that you can't cross. But if you hop into the Umbral world, you'll see a platform you can latch onto and pull towards you using your super creepy Umbral lantern. Speaking of your lantern, this is also an item you can use to pull souls out of enemies and deal damage to the soul. Then there's an echo effect that will transfer the damage back to the enemy. It's pretty sweet. The other mechanic that you could say is quote-unquote stolen from a FromSoft game like Sekiro is the ability to resurrect after you die. Once you die, you resurrect in Umbral form. Your health is cut down by about half, giving you your normal health bar and then a second gray health bar called Wither. Wither has a whole bunch of other uses in this game, but right now let's just talk about the resurrection. Any damage you do while you have this gray health bar will regenerate it and potentially go back to full. But if you take any damage while you still have that gray health bar, Wither, then it's just gone. Poof. You'll have to use a healing item in order to heal now, or just die like I did constantly.